Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that you had the secret weapon to lowering your credit card utilization without having to pay more than you feel comfortable doing? All right. This is a strategy that I know works. It's one that I've utilized with clients in the past. And no, it's not some shady trick or way to try to cheat the system. It's a legitimate strategy. However, there are the caveats to it. It's not a, umbrella technique that 100% of people can take advantage of. It really is a niche strategy for those of you that are possibly, feeling stuck. You've got a little bit of capital that you have available to pay down your debt, but it's not enough to get you to where you've been recommended to be. And so this might be that missing key. Now, let's hypothetically, I've used this strategy in the past for anonymity's sake. I want to create a very close, true to life scenario without actually using real names and numbers. But let's let Hector, right? He's one of the people that we've worked with in the past. This is maybe the second or third month we've worked with him. At the time that he came to us originally, he had a new business. He startup funding. And like a lot of you, he's out there, he's trying to juggle everything at once. He doesn't have the bank history that we needed in order to qualify him for more traditional financing. So he comes to us and we let him know it's just like, hey, dude, this is the situation. In order for you to get business funding in general right now, we have to turn to business credit and term loans, right? So the good news in his scenario, did his credit was solid. He was rocking a 680. He met all the minimum criteria. His credit was well seasoned. He had a mortgage, he had a car note, he had personal term loans that he had taken out in the past. They were already paid off. He had credit cards, obviously, that were open. They had been open for a significant amount of time. The credit limits on them were decent. They were 5, 10, one that was like $20,000 credit limit. But the bad news was, or the not so good news was that after reviewing his actual credit report, we found that his utilization rate was hovering right around 40%. And when we're turning to business credit and personal term loans, and when we approach these lenders, we're asking for maximum funding, right? Um, so when you've got that high of a utilization rate, I'm not saying you're going to be declined, but it greatly reduces your overall approval amounts. So for those of you that maybe aren't as familiar, excuse me, utilization actually plays a big role in your pre-approval amounts when it comes to lines of credit and term loans. So ideally, in an ideal world, you want to be right around 10%. Now, I get it. I mean, I've spoken with people that are like, dude, I mean, if I didn't need credit, I wouldn't have them. What the hell are you talking about? Getting my utilization under 10%. It's a very difficult number to achieve 100% with you. But if you've ever heard the success stories of people getting approved for like $250,000 in startup funding, or that coveted $500,000 in coveted funding, that is the metric that they had. They had utilization under 10%. Now, for those of us that actually live in reality, we can work with anything right around the 20% mark. For larger approval amounts, when you start going into the 30s, 40s, 50%, Lord forbid, even higher than that, pre-approval amounts are going to drop significantly, if not flat out declines. once you start surpassing the 40% mark. So with kind of that being said, again, we ideally 20%, right? So Hector had, again, he had good income, decent credit. The problem was he didn't have enough cash on hand to make that 20% goal happen right now, right? So what would have happened to Hector if he had spoken with 99% of other brokers? That conversation would have been quick. They would have literally told him, "Hey, tough luck. Come on when you've got the money and you can get your credit card bills down to that 20% mark." That's not what we do here at BDA Solutions. We're very different. I'm consistently saying we're one of zero. And the strategy that I offered Hector, it was a game changer. Right. And this is how it works. And it's brought to you by one of our sponsors. It's called Simple, SIPLE, if I can spell that correctly. It's not difficult, folks. And it's really, again, specifically for those of you that are looking for business funding, and you've got, again, a little bit of money that you can pay down, but not enough to quite get it to where that ideal mark is. It is not a strategy for you to try to bypass a system. It's none of that. So here's kind of how it worked, right? So Hector was sitting at 60% utilization on one of his cards. All right. For simple math's sake, let's say that he owed $600 on a $1,000 credit card limit. The obvious move was to go to pay the balance down and kind of keep chipping away at it as, time goes on. Don't use it anymore. Just pay it down, pay it down, pay it down, pay it down. But he doesn't have the cash to get it under 20% right off the bat. So what do we do? Here's the strategy, okay? He calls his credit card company to make a decent payment. Let's say $200, bringing down his balance to $400, right? We tell him to ask for a credit line increase after he's made the payment. Now, you've got to call customer service. I know that's probably a big pain in the ass. You're like, dude, you're gonna ask me to spend, 45 minutes to an hour waiting for these people to actually pick up the phone. Trust me, this small step is going to make a big difference. So in this scenario, by making that $200 payment and getting his credit limit simultaneously bumped up from $1,000 to $2,000, his utilization rate drops instantly to that magic 20% number without him having to pay anything more than what he can comfortably afford. Now, if he had just paid down his balance to $400 on that original $1,000 limit, his utilization would still be sitting at a painful 40%. That's the difference. Again, I didn't ask him to go break the bank and, start eating ramen noodles for the next, 3 months in order for you to get enough money and pay that down. We're beyond that. We're not asking him to pay any more cash or throw any more cash at this than what he already felt comfortable doing. And that is what separates us from any other broker that you're going to talk to, period. End of story. Now, again, you're probably asking yourself, is this technique going to happen, or I'm sorry, going to work for me? It's not a magic pill that's going to work 100% of the time. Not every card issuer is going to grant you that credit line increase. Okay, I'm flat out honest, but you do have a decent chance if you've got good credit, like Hector was. He was at a solid 680 again. He's got good history with the lender. The card had been open for years. There's a solid chance for you to be able to pull this off if you have those components in place. All right. Now, it may not work, but when it does, trust me, it's a game changer. We're talking about the ability to access better funding, faster approvals, and you want to talk about less headaches. This is what it's going to take for you to get that done. So I invite you to go out. I mean, if you want to spend your time and talk to these other jokers that are out here pretending like they're doing something, they're gonna tell you, sorry, you're just SOL because you don't have the money to pay down your balances. Sorry, come talk to me in a few months when you've been able to chip that away. There's always another move to make. And typically, we're the ones showing you exactly how to do that. Here at BDA Solutions, we're not just here to process loans. We're not just here to shove you with whatever you qualify for right here, right now, and walk away. We're actually here to invest in you. We're here to dig in. We're here to brainstorm and find the best strategies that are going to help you fund your business the right way. There's no other broker out there doing that. If you'd like to learn more about us, I invite you, bdasolutions.biz. That is our website. It's got, links to all of our other social media handles. If you'd like to learn more about us, read. We've got referrals on there. We've got other strategies. And speaking of strategies, I invite you all to click the link below. I'm going to put on a link to get to our school community. On school, I'm going to be sharing this strategy on there just for future reference. But what's there already kind of reinforces what I'm always saying is that we're one of zero in this industry. I've got information there that you can have a very good idea of what you qualify for from a business funding perspective before you even fill out an application. I go over what it takes on a credit perspective for you to qualify and what it takes on a business tenure for you to qualify. I also go over the 7 steps that it's going to take for you to build a business credit profile from scratch, right? I'm not charging you $2,000, $3,000 to get access to this program for the same information. It's there for you 100% free. For those of you that have thin credit profiles, and really the only thing that you can go out there and qualify for are, your department store cards, and you need access to larger amounts of cash, credit, and you can't get anything other than a secured credit card. I've got 8 different resources that you can go to help increase your personal FICO score, make it a lot more appealing to lenders, and hopefully start that reaction to be able to increase the probabilities of you getting approved. That's it, folks. That's what I do. That's what we do. We give you information no one else is giving you. We peel the curtain back. We let you into really the world of business financing. We're not trying to play the bait and switch game like a lot of these other guys are doing, where they'll advertise one thing and then you take your time, fill out the application, submit documents, and then they come back to you with horse shit. That's not what we do. That's not what we're about. So go experience the difference, get yourself some education. And when you've got the need or you've got the desire to go out and start exploring the ideas of acquiring business capital, please take us into consideration. I'm always available, typically over the phone, 872-265-1570. Call me, drop me a text. Be more than happy to explore whatever options, ideas that you may have. No obligation. 872-265-1570. Until the next time, guys, stay strong, stay educated. Talk to you soon.